What made the popular girl at school unpopular? I was relatively popular. I was in JV basketball, marching band, mathletes, and track, and pretty much made friends with everyone until my best friend at the time claimed I pushed her down the stairs and caused her to have surgery on both legs. Thing is, I was at my grandmother's funeral in another state the entire week she claimed it happened. While the teachers kept us apart and understood my side, none of the others really believed me, except the Anin Club. They believed me. Go Weebs. When she made fun of me in front of everyone for wearing a yellow shirt to school, it was just a plain yellow shirt and she somehow found a way to mock the color. It was so unnecessary and made her look like someone who was just rude for no reason. Everyone quickly realized that she thought people were automatically on her side cause she was somewhat rich, and she just became a joke after that. There was an Asian girl who was well liked by everyone, smart, happy to help anyone struggling in class, and was generally a nice person, but her uncle scammed out people in her community, including parents of kids that went to our school. She went from being well liked to being bullied. Still, she dropped out of school. My partner likes to tell the story of how she became the unpopular kid at school. She was about 6/7, so primary 2 here in the UK, and a trend kicked off in her class of eating dog biscuits. All the kids were stealing dog biscuits from home and eating them at break time. Unfortunately, she didn't have a dog and just had to eat normal human biscuits at school. She was ostracized every break time for it. Peer pressure is weird sometimes. There was a really pretty girl that was quite popular in my high school. She was a bit snobby to people and sorta rude. I recall one time she threw a textbook at my groin because I was leaning back in my desk and thought it was funny. I guess it kinda was thinking back. She also liked to make fun of the fact that I was Mexican on more than one occasion. Anyways, she gained significant weight our junior/senior year in high school, and I guess a lot of the popular kids decided to disown her for it. I never actually heard anything, but I recall her sitting all alone at lunch one day. Not my best moment, but I walked by her, pointed, and plainly said, "You earned this." When school started, she was so popular she could hang out with anyone in any kind of friend group. She was that beautiful social athletic blonde girl. Then, she began hanging out with me, the 16 years old handicapped girl walking slowly with a wooden cane like an old woman. She instantly got unpopular, but still decided to stick around, and we made our own group of friends. 10 years later, she's a popular jeweler in my old town, and still as beautiful, funny and kind as ever. She got pregnant at 17 and the father could have been one of 2 guys, both of whom were boyfriends of her close friends and neither of whom wanted anything more to do with her. My school actually had really good sex education and we knew about contraception from the age of about 11. Plus this was the UK, where contraception is free and easy to get, so she couldn't blame ignorance or lack of resources. She tried for the woe is me act and nobody wanted to be around her anymore. Edit. Since a lot of people are talking about double standards, I'll add that both potential fathers were also ostracized after that. They cheated on their girlfriends, both of whom were well liked, and had been stupid enough to not even use contraception when they also couldn't plead ignorance or lack of access. As for the girl in question, she wasn't ostracized for having sex or even for getting pregnant. Really, the primary reason was that she'd slept with her close friends' boyfriends and, again, not even used protection. Plus when she went around looking for sympathy afterwards, rather than just accepting that she'd done something wrong, that made it so much worse. She tried to claim it was all her friends' fault for being bad girlfriends, and if they weren't, their boyfriends wouldn't have been interested in her. Stopped coming to school. Didn't even do her exams in the end. Just sat at home and smoked weed all the time. Didn't even work. She just got boyfriends who would pay for everything for her. Became spiritual. Got the Hindu symbol OM tattooed on her finger. Got dreadlocks, etc. Posted weird photos on her Instagram. It's hard to explain, but she just sort of became weird. I once heard her talking to a bunch of 13-year-olds about how her boyfriend just got out of prison. She also always spoke about wanting to have a baby. This weed smoking, non-working, 18-year-old girl wanted a child. In the end, nobody in my school even spoke to her anymore. Even her friends didn't like her much because she was sort of a bitch. She was popular because she was super pretty and smart. It's sad. She obviously has no direction in her life. Her only qualifications are the exams we did when we were 15. Her brother and sister were still in the school. They were really nice and basically the opposite to her. I hope they do well. A mum got into an argument with a parish priest and forced her daughter to lie to the police about him molesting her when she was an altar girl, all over some memorial that the mother didn't agree with. The plan worked, since the local archdiocese was forced to transfer him to another parish, but it was quickly proven the girl was being forced to lie by the police. The girl's reputation didn't take that much of a hit during school, but her mum became a social pariah across multiple parishes, since the priest was a patron to the local high school and a lot of people respected him. The girl was seriously screwed. However, her parents wanted her to become a solicitor or barrister, and I think they made her take law in A-level, but since the mum made her lie to the police, she's a documented liar, which bars her from enrolling into a legal course in the UK. One of the most popular girls in senior year slept with her best friends, also popular girl, boyfriend, also popular guy, for a whole day. Girl 1 was ignored by everyone except one person. If the rumors were to be believed, girl 2 lifted G1 up by the neck in the girls' change room the morning, said some choice words to her, then ignored her completely for a week. Meanwhile, boy was in this super awkward position of, hey, I was super drunk and thought it was my GF, as it's where we'd organized to sleep after the party. Turns out he was an idiot and got the wrong room in his drunk state, but it also wasn't G1's organized room, so she called the exchange student a peasant. This was 10 years ago, when I was in year 12, and for some reason we had a bunch of exchange students in the midst of everyone dating and partying, and I wouldn't know, I was doing work. Anyway, the popular girls were a group of maybe 10 girls that were human rakes with platinum or chocolate dyed hair and a fascination with designer brands. They had cars too, because I remember they driving past me at a bus stop screaming at me to die. So, basically, hot Swiss girl shows up, and the pettiest of them didn't like her having the popular guys like her and being a polite guest ECT. Apparently, one day this happened in CAFS, Community and Family Studies, class. The popular girl in question shows up on a Monday and no one is talking to her or sitting next to her. So I ask someone. So on the prior weekend, they were having a house party and Kelsey, popular girl, started texting people that she'd stolen her parents' credit card to buy a dress to wear for about $300, then showed up and had called the girl a peasant for not having a wardrobe of clothes to wear to their blowout party. There was rumors that she slept around for cash, did tricks, that her friends were extorting her for cash. We graduated 4 months later, only a few people spoke to her, and she was smashed at the formal, and most of them have gone off to work in real estate. Popular girl in junior high got outed and in a bunch of trouble when she accused a couple guys of stalking her. One guy lived a block away from her, so she told everyone at school that he was a creep and was looking in her window at night. Unfortunately for her, the guy she accused of peeping on her was out of town during the time she said everything happened. He had mountains of proof, and she had absolutely nothing to back up what she was saying. She and her family got into big trouble for a false police report, and since her dad was still active duty military, they got booted out of base housing, and she got moved to another middle school. Let's call this girl Keisha. Keisha was very popular ever since 7th grade, but was a huge bully. She'd make every innocent student stay miserable, even targeted me. She even fights with everyone and does everything she can to get on everyone's nerves. Well, on my sophomore year of high school she was arrested for fighting some college students, even some older teachers. I saw her doing the most angriest and ugly face as she'd been taken away inside a police car. When Keisha was released, she worked at Burger King. Then poof, Keisha was gone from my hometown. I haven't seen her anymore for 3 years now, and wondering if she's okay. Elementary school, 5th grade, 2011 to 2012. There was a girl named Patricia in my class. She was friends with the popular girls, so that made her a popular girl. During recess, the popular girls would walk around the playground and the field, like they owned the place. They acted like they were too good to touch a piece of equipment. They gossiped about boys, other girls, teachers, and whatever bullshit 10 over 11-year-old girls gossip about. I'm not sure of the entire story, but I witnessed the following. Patricia wasn't in class one day. I was confused because Patricia never missed a day. On top of being a popular girl, she was also an A student and had a couple attendance awards. When it was time for recess, I overheard my teacher asking 3 of the popular girls, "Okay, where did you say she hid the knife?" I followed the teacher and the girls outside to one of the portables, outdoor classrooms. One of the girls told the teacher that the knives were there. There was a hole in the corner of the wood foundation, and you could easily see inside. "What's going on?" I asked one of the girls while the teacher was searching the hole. "Patricia brought a butcher's knife and wants to stab Kerrigan," she told me. The teacher got up from searching and told us to run along. I don't remember what happened after that. As far as I remember, the knife either didn't exist or it was never found. I do remember that when Patricia came back, she was shunned by the popular girls and pretty much the entire grade. I tried to make friends with her, but she told me to freak off. I never saw her again after 5th grade. Patricia, if you're out there, then freak you. I have a sad one. Girl I went to school with in grade 7, developed early and was the hot girl of the school that year. Every girl was her friend, hanging out with the older kids, dating the cool guys. She looked like a mean girl, but was actually super kind and nice to most people. I'm not body shaming here, it's just what happened. She grew to be about 5 feet 11 inch, and was pretty much what someone now would call a thick girl. This was in the early 2000s when that was not in style. Couple that with we got a new hockey kid at our school in grade 9 who back then was the sickest who hated her. Turns out back in grade 7, she had turned him down at a hockey game and he cried. He made up a rumor that she had slept with one of his friends from out of town and given him herpes. People started calling her fat, and by the end of grade 9 she was one of the most unpopular kids in school. She had maybe 2 friends. Good news for anyone reading this right now that may be going through the same thing. She is happily married and owns a cute little boutique clothing store. The cool hockey guy has a raging cocaine problem and hasn't done anything since high school. Kids are jerks. Those early years aren't going to reflect future you. My high school bully, actually she bullied me from grade 5 when I started at that school, happened to be the popular kid. People realized that bullying isn't that funny and entertaining anymore. She didn't change with the rest of the kids and ended being friendless. I really hope she has changed by now, because not having friends suck. Ask me. No one wanted to be friends with the nerdy girl who gets teased and bullied all the time. Luckily this was more than 20 years ago, so I've made my few long life friends. My arch nemesis, Caitlin, was always faking things like depression, being suicidal, being bullied, etc. One day, I exposed her. She was being a bitch again, and we were arguing. We were friends at the time, and she decided she wasn't happy that I was winning the argument. So her idea was to make my friends hate me by literally telling the worst lie ever. She said she could threaten to kill me. It was the stupidest thing anyone had ever heard. I got pretty annoyed, so I exposed her. Her face was hilarious. She still fakes depression though, and she even fakes heart disease. Next time I see her I'ma beat the shizzle out to her. I was extremely popular my freshman year of high school. The coolest guys wanted to be cool with me, and the prettiest girls wanted to be on my arm. It was a big deal for me, because I was bullied all through middle school and elementary. So imagine the shock when all the girls who insulted me in middle were envious, because I never gave them the time of day in high. Anyway, there was this girl I knew who I used to call my best friend. Knew each other since we were 2. She was in no way popular, and nowhere near pretty as the girls who were on my radar, but she was a lifelong friend and everyone knew that. Long story short, in a pathetic attempt to ride on my popularity, she told people we had sex. And since everyone knew me, word traveled fast. And since it was high school, everyone believed it to be true. An empire, a reputation that took months to build, destroyed in 30 minutes by a lie. In 7th grade going into 8th, a really popular girl was running for class president. A really dorky, awkward, but completely harmless, and generally very happy girl decided to run against her, but everyone just thought she was being weird and had no chance of winning. The popular girl ran a smear campaign in middle school. She spread a bunch of bullshit about this happy little wallflower that absolutely nobody disliked. Not only did the dorky girl win the election, the popular girl was absolutely shunned because she showed what an awful person she was. That same girl, in senior year, threatened the AP history teacher that she would accuse him of something sexual, harassment, having a relationship, something, I forgot specifics, if he didn't pass her. He told her go ahead, he wouldn't give anyone a grade they didn't earn. I learned this as he was offering me extra credit opportunities 2/3 of the way through the semester to bring my grade up, as he did anyone who was failing, including her. The girl was vile, and I'm proud of my peers, over 25 years ago, not putting up with a mean girl's bully. Like and subscribe for more Reddit videos.